It's been a bit since I've been out to work on the property, and I'm just gonna walk around and see if I make some discoveries that I had not made the last time I was out. So I'm just gonna walk around and see. Hope there's something interesting. There's a red shrub that I wanted to go back and look at because it was extremely bright about a week ago, and I wanted to see what it is. And too bad it's hidden behind all of this. So I want to check that out. It's under what I refer to as our cedar grove. It's just a small section of cedar trees. Unfortunately, some neighbor down the way has started using their leaf blower. I don't own a leaf blower, and I'm not sure if I ever will. I don't like the noise. I like quiet. If he wasn't blowing, I'd only hear the birds right now. Anyway, I love it under here. It's very hidden and private and very shady. So in the summer, it's a great place to sit and read a book or something. But this is the bush I was looking for. It's extremely red. And now I see that this oak tree has also changed colors since I was last here. I made some trails here years ago, but I need to re-clear them because it's really a mess. But yeah, I would love to see this more. And that's some kind of false honeysuckle tree. And at this time of year, it's loaded with berries, as you can see. There's another one. They're kind of everywhere. They're invasive. But I'm very curious about this red shrub. Just on the other side of the little cedar grove, the cedars had a ton of babies one year, and now they're kind of getting big. They're taller than me now, which I'm excited about. Another invasive that I have a love-hate relationship is the bittersweet vines. Although I've been working with them and making reeds, basket that I'm working on, and I like the berries at this time of year. I think they're attractive and something for the birds to come look for. Here's a different view of that shrub. It's on fire. Actually, when you're under the little cedar grove, you realize how huge the cedar trees are right here. Really, really big. But the problem is I keep having to fight the bittersweet vines that grow up into the cedar trees, which I do not want to happen. So I keep having to pull them down and cut them at the base. They're extremely hard to dig up, so just have to do it that way for a while until I ever get the strength to pull up as many vines as there are. The one thing I did here when we first moved in the house was put this little tiny bistro table under this tree, and it has a rusted candelabra And I need to put some candles in it, actually. It was green, and it will be again. One of my many tasks to accomplish is to get some new paint and repaint the table and the chairs and get new cushions again. It's a great place to hide and have a hot coffee or tea and a book. Or I could see two people playing chess right here. Another idea. And there's that beautiful red fiery shrub. I'll have to find out what that is. Very excited about it. Okay, now I think I'm gonna walk around and look for some other interesting focal points. Speaking of invasives, these are, well, they're a mix of branches and young trunks of tree of heaven, maybe some sumac and some other stuff, maybe some bittersweet trunks as well. I cut them and then I collect them because I use them particularly in what I refer to as the crystal fortress. Once upon a time, this area was called the Fantasy Forest, and then we had a horrific storm, and there was no more forest anymore, so we just called it a fantasy, and then I just changed the name entirely, and now it's referred to as the Crystal Fortress, because I built a wall Before I show you the wall, this is one of the trees that was just completely pulled out of its roots, and I decided it was so interesting for children that I left it, obviously, because it's not like we can tear it down very easily. It would take men to deal with this much wood, and I decided I would put broken clocks in it. It's a little Alice in Wonderland-ish, even though I'm not really into that book that much. Anyway, here is the fortress side, where I built a wall going across that way, and it has two entrances. That's the second entrance. The first original entrance is over here. I'll walk around on the other side so you can see better. I see some raking in my future, which is fine. It's excellent exercise. This is the bell tree. It has bells all over it. That's the thinking rock. There's one of many bells. And a few years ago, my son gave me this wise old man. So he kind of guards the fortress area. He's nice, pleasant guy. Not to be scary for children. That's not his intention, although he's not good looking. Anyway, this is the first entrance. We had other storms. I'm gonna walk slowly because these leaves are so super easy to fall. Speaking of things that fell, here's another stump that I just left intact because, again, kind of interesting. I think kids would think it was mystical. They pulled up the rocks with it, of course. It was a pretty huge tree. we got someone to cut all of it except for this. These huge leaves were given to me by a client friend who had given me this and a tree. These are called Japanese butterbur, and they're huge. And I need to put them to bed. Put that on my list. So there's the second entrance with the Japanese butterbur. And this is the original entrance. This entrance, actually, I can show you, has what's known as multiflora rose. It's a wild, very sweet smelling rose that I really like, except talk about invasive. It's highly invasive and highly thorny, so I have a lot of problems with it. Oh, here's another invasive and nasty thing. These horrible, horrible spotted lanternflies. They are still laying eggs. They're still alive. It's freezing out here and they're still alive. And they're laying eggs all over these horrible tree of heaven trees that some people call tree of hell. And this year they really are, because of these nasty, nasty, nasty insects. I just hate them. We've had a few trees on our property that have been absolutely covered with these horrific, nasty bugs. And it's best that you don't stand under a tree that has multiple bugs like that, especially if they're in masses, because the tree literally rains on your head of their nasty, nasty secretions. It's disgusting. And it causes some kind of nasty black rotting, which this tree is better than it was. But it was so black. And there's still some down here too. I've been chopping them. If they're young, I chop them completely down, but these are just too big. I have several that are just too big to chop. Anyway, so I trained the multiflora rose into the entrance, which, for two reasons. It's going to give it some strength to stay together, and the sweet smelling roses are beautiful when they bloom in the spring, and they smell like heaven. So the reason it's called the Crystal Fortress is because there are crystals hanging from, I don't know, I've lost count of how many tree branches. There are crystals everywhere, and I don't even know where they are anymore. They're just kind of everywhere. You don't notice them in the summer, but now that it's autumn, and then it's going to be winter, and then spring comes, all three of those seasons I get to enjoy the sparkles from the windows at the back of our house. So it's nice to see some sparkling that you don't expect, which is especially fun for children and visitors. When I give tours sometimes, I can't give another tour right now until I rake the paths, because it's a little bit too treacherous. I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like that leaf blower got louder. Ugh. I've walked up a little bit just so I could show you the two entrances. This was a view that I designed with being up here in mind, that it would look kind of neat if you could see two archways from where I'm standing. So, then I'll go up a little higher. I'm not sure if I'll take you all the way up to the summit. Maybe. We'll see. I've designed this little area to become my future cutting garden. And then that way is obviously our campfire site. So we'll walk over there. This campfire site used to be over there in the overgrown trees, and a tree fell, so we moved it over here, which made more sense actually for two reasons. Because this rock outcrop, well, two rock outcrops, and then I put stones in the middle to create a circle. Seemed like a perfect place for a fire to be. And later we'll see mountains. We'll have our mountain view back as soon as that's a saucer magnolia right there. It's huge. Once it sheds its leaves, we'll start seeing more mountain. And this is some work I'm doing for a Zen garden. So I've been collecting pieces of slate from around the entire property actually, and bringing them this way. Sometimes I bring them from the top of the mountain, sometimes I bring them from the bottom of the mountain. So anyway, it's going to be a while before I can fill it all in. This is where I keep nice neat stacks of firewood and kindling for the campfire. And I'm beginning to plant some grasses and ferns. And there's one thing that I just added the other day. This is all stilt grass, by the way. This log was here, and we've started to add coins to the log, as they do in Cornwall, England. I'll save that idea for another video. And a friend recently gave me 2 wooden blocks, and we found a old piece of wood from our neighbor, and now it's going to become a bench with sort of a simple Asian theme for the Zen garden. Speaking of Zen, I guess I'll leave the water in there for the animals to drink if they want any. It's going to rain again tonight. This is also a great place to enjoy the countless sugar maples. We're just surrounded by them. This is another path that I actually didn't create, my neighbor did. I'm referring to it as the Thicket Bird Sanctuary because it's heavily populated with birds when I'm up here. And it's just a really nice path. It's pretty secret, private in the summer. And I like how it winds around to another open spot with some beautiful colors. Perfect place for a table right there. This is where we have a lot of stacked wood. I hear squirrels. Or maybe deer. Not sure. This is the only white pine that we have on our property as far as I know. And I love it. The straw under it is just so nice. Gonna walk over there. I gave a tour a couple of weeks ago and had these trails all perfectly raked. And now they're covered again, but that's okay. More exercise. This is the base of the tree, and it's really big. And I just love the straw. I just wish we had more of these trees. A lot of leaves have fallen since I've been up here, obviously. The colors are so great. Yeah, I was sort of building a log cabin over here. This is my favorite part because these trails going up this way are so neat and tidy because I took tons of logs and branches to make the edges. Makes it so much easier to find the trails. I also installed an art project. I see I have to repair something again. I don't know if I'm going to do that right now. Anyway, I call it the Druid Crescent. It's organ pipes from a church I used to attend. They got a new state-of-the-art organ, so they were getting rid of all the pipes, and I kind of brought them all home with me. Like over 200, I think. I kind of stopped counting. Anyway, so those are the largest ones. That tall one is, I think it's either as tall or taller than my husband, and he's over 6 feet. Here's another cross trail. This bucket was just something we found on the property because there's some ruins sort of that way, and it was a feed bucket. I just like it. I like rusty things, and it's been hanging there for I don't know, at least 10 years. Well, here we go again. The wind blew my chair down again because I keep forgetting to tie it to a tree. Sigh. These are called the little soldiers, peeping out of some rock outcrops and moss. I love that moss. And that's Sunburst. And the one up there is called Zipper. I can't decide if I want to keep going up to the top. Maybe. I'll go this way. I'll show you one more pipe. And actually, oh no, this is, oh, it just makes me sick. This is another tree of heaven, and it still has the nasty moths all over it. Anyway, this is another organ pipe, and this is how organ pipes actually are when they're actually in an organ in a church. Let me go around the other side. So that's how you would see it if you were in a church. They're upside down. But to me, they look just as good. Like this. Speaking of ruins, this is one of the ruins on our property that we're not sure what it was. Might have been a stall for oxen, because that way down there, definitely some ruins with leather yokes still intact. Maybe not by now, but they were when I found them 10 years ago. Lots of rusty horseshoes and buckles and pieces of axes and other stuff, tools and screws. So this is one ruin. It's just basically a pit, and it has 3 walls, and we don't know why. I'm guessing an animal was attached to it somehow. I don't know. Maybe it had a roof on it one day. Have no idea. But the ruins that way that you can't see because it's so overgrown, those definitely had roofs and foundations. One is made out of the stones like this, and one is actually sort of a concrete. I'm going to revive the ruins at some point. As you can see, a lot of trees have been falling. Big surprise. Okay, so I guess we'll go to the top. It's good exercise. Might as well. I don't like the crunchy leaves though, because I can't sneak up on an animal should I see one. It's just too noisy. And I've seen quite a few animals up here. My favorite was the fox. The most beautiful fox ever. Just kind of trotted right next to me one day when I was just sitting in my chair, and he matched the colors of the forest. It was really nice. We pretty much have every little wild creature on this property. I mean, the skunks really smell horrible, but that is such a cute little animal. And raccoons, deer, and if you look at my video before this, we have a resident bear. So I'm always kind of on the lookout for a bear, because I don't think I really want to walk around with a bear. This is one of my favorite areas. A lot of rock outcrop, especially up there. And that's where we're heading. Oh, someone's in here. Looks like the chair messed up my... I'll have to come out here and fix some things. Oh, constant battle. It's either animals, wind, chairs, hard ground, soft ground, flooding, droughts. Everything affects the art. And I just come up here and fix it. Because the whole point of me installing them was to use basically just physics. Just trying to use gravity. So they're not being held up by anything but the ground and some rocks around the base. The large ones, that is. Everything else is just in the ground, hoping for the best. I still have some pipes I haven't used yet, so I'll be making at least one more design. We're getting closer to the rock outcrops. They're just so pretty. I am kind of obsessed with rocks and moss. Oh, those trees. Oh, yeah, I can see the mountain now. Some trees have lost enough leaves that I can start enjoying some mountain views. My favorite thing, though, is the snow. Every year I come up here to the top, which I'm not quite at the top yet, but the higher I go, the more mountains I see. And the snow, it's just blue mountains and white snow. Ah, best view ever. I'll come up here in the winter and it'll be freezing and my husband won't see me for hours. I have a hard time going back home. I call it going back home because I feel like I've traveled a little bit of a distance away from the cottage. So now you can see. Oh, more mountains. I don't think videos and photos do it justice of what I'm seeing. Alright, so now we're going to go up. I call this the Summit Trail, but it's not 100% actually the summit of our property. I almost slipped. Our property goes up there somewhere, and it's really hard to find the markers, so I'm not going to bother showing you. but this is close enough. I call this the Summit Trail. It's very nice and flat, and it has fantastic views. I wish you could see the mountains better. I can see them with my eye, but they just don't seem to translate very well on a video. And later, when it's snowing, I'll see mountains way over there as well, which are across the river. These mountains are on this side. This is a really good trail because of the edges. We had some really good tree trunks fall, so this is probably the perfect sized tree trunk to use for making trails. The trees are so pretty, but it's almost over. Halloween in what, 2 more days. So once Halloween is over, this will all start disappearing. There's a red one. I just heard some kind of weird little animal sound. I'm not sure what that was. Maybe a mad squirrel yelling at his silly squirrel friend. I don't know. It was weird. I love this view. Let me go over here and stand in the corner. I love the rock wall. It goes all the way around on both sides of our property. Very, very common in New York and New England. All those trees are really nice. Yeah, pretty soon, that mountain right there, it's Mount Beacon, you can't really tell. It is going to be very easy to see. From where I'm standing, it looks really big, but it's not that big. You can see it a little bit there. Oh, I look forward to the snow. I love snow. Technically, my trail goes all the way around here, but it's extremely slippery with the leaves, and it's on such a steep incline that I'm not going to go that way. I have an ankle issue, which I have since corrected, and I don't want it to come back because it was very painful. I also broke my wrist in the ice at a church one year, so I'm a little more weary of inclines. Anyway, now, not sure where I'm going next. I just love seeing a beautiful oak leaf on the ground. If it's red, too bad about the holes, but that color is so nice. Speaking of inclines, this would be a great place for a bench. Let me investigate. And kind of here, sort of at the edge. Yeah, and that's where you could sort of slip and fall a little bit, but a bench back here would be nice. I'll think about that. Some interesting leaf. I think I was inspired by living in Garrison, which is in New York, in the Hudson Valley. I was inspired by the trails on the Appalachian Trail, because we literally lived right on the trail, so I could just literally walk out of my back door and be on the Appalachian Trail. Also the Benedict Arnold, there's a trail where he fled So I would get on that trail, which is right across from West Point. I used to hike constantly. So all these trails in the Hudson Valley inspired me to have my own when we moved to this property, because it's just enough property to make you feel like you went somewhere. And it's just enough property that has flat areas, but mostly this mountain area. So yeah. My husband and I are actually looking at properties in Cornwall and Wales because we love it in the UK. We just kind of want a little bolt hole to go hide in and walk around, maybe the Salt Path and so many other places that Cornwall and Wales have to offer, and without giving up this house. That's the plan. We don't know if it'll work out, but I don't think I could let go of this. This is just too special. But then again, Cornwall is very special and Wales is very special. I just want my cake and eat it too, basically. I just want to be outside all the time, really. I'm happiest when I'm outside. Okay, I dread this part right here. This is the slippery part. And actually, this is the exact spot where I sort of slipped just a hair in 2022. And my ankle has not been the same since. I just twisted it just a teeny bit. But it's much better now. I went to a doctor, obviously. One last peek. Oh, I just love these. Oh, just that moss. I used to have a trail that went through these rocks, and I'll have to revive that again too. My little pretend rock climbing section. Okay, I'm trying not to slip. It's nice to just kind of walk around the property without saying to myself, oh my God, I have so much work to do. And I do. My list is infinite. I am not kidding. I have a composition book and I just write everything I'm supposed to do in that book for the property. But it's a labor of love, so I just keep adding to the list. But I enjoy putting a highlighter marker through the things I've done, only to write maybe 10 or 20 more things every time I cross off just one thing. I add about 10 or 20 more things. But it's just so pretty. How can you not want to work here? Oh, and now there's like this little rustle of leaves and birds in the background. How can you not want to just stay here forever? If it weren't for that, whatever that is, lawnmower in the background, it would be absolutely silent other than the leaves and some birds. We sure found a really perfect secret place. Strangely, right next to modern conveniences. So we sort of have the best of both worlds. It's just too nice. Another thing about this weekend, the time changes. Ugh. It already changed in England, and I'm having to train myself that I have to come out here earlier so that I still have time in the daylight hours to work. So I have to get used to that again. It'll start getting dark around 4:30ish. Well, whatever. I love hearing those crows in the background. Oh, another thing that I've done with the small pipes, and it has not worked out. I did not realize how delicate that organ pipes are. They're extremely soft. Some are made out of nickel and others are made out of lead, so I can tell which ones are lead by the weight. And mind you, I took probably 7 trips, I think that's what it was, 7 trips to and from the church to bring these in my Jeep to the property. And then I left them at the bottom of the property at the cottage, and then I put them in a few at a time in those cheap blue tarps you can get at discount stores, and then I dragged them all the way up here. And so that was in 2019. That's when I installed these pipes. And I was up here the other day and I had to pick up one of the heavier pipes, and I thought to myself, how the hell did I drag multiple large pipes up the mountain? Because it just felt like it was so much heavier than I remembered. And actually, if you put a lot of the little smaller pipes together and bring them up the mountain, they're also pretty heavy, depending on what they're made out of. But I think they're softer, so they're probably the nickel. Ugh. And as you can see, I had these wrapped up. Where is it? I had these wrapped up in jute around the trunk, and that was sort of a disaster because the jute, of course, disintegrates. So that didn't work. And then I have used metal, but I think it's just too tight. I guess I'm gonna go examine that right now. Before I get to the one that I need to examine, I was just gonna show you the zipper. And I had to rebuild the zipper recently because it was just trampled by deer, probably. But I don't think deer bite like this. Yeah, that's got to be a I don't know, raccoon. I don't know, something with short teeth, but it's kind of damaged several tips of the pipe. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 pipes here have been damaged with tooth marks. So here's a pipe on the tree that's not damaged as much as the other one I'm about to show you. But you can see how just a little bit of squeezing, the pipe is just really soft. All right, so let me go. Oh my, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to just take this one off, and I don't know, maybe I could fix it. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's almost cut in half. Oh my gosh, is it growing into the tree? Oh, all right, well, hashtag fail. Yeah, well, I'll deal with that another day. Jeez. Oh, well, more hashtag fail. Okay. Also, one of the pipes lost his little hat, so he looks stupid, and that one fell. I'll just deal with this another day. I'm trying to stick to my agenda here. Let's see how bad this looks. Oh, it's got so many leaves around it, you can't even really tell that it's supposed to be a starburst. I mean a sunburst. Whatever. It's a burst of some sort. And here are the little soldiers again. And the stupid chair. So that chair I used to have strapped to this tree trunk. So I'll have to do that again. I don't have any rope on me at this moment, so won't be today. All right, the sun is going to be disappearing. It's been cloudy all day. I notice we have a lot more airplanes flying these days. And I don't mean just jets or anything, but I mean propeller airplanes. Look at this. Where'd he go? There's an airport in Poughkeepsie, and I'm wondering if they have a lot more people who own propeller planes as well as small jets. I have noticed an increase in their little airplane parking lot of jets and propeller planes. And I'm wondering, do they have a flight school now? Because I hear a lot more planes. Not that I mind. That's one sound I actually enjoy. Wow, the sunlight is making wonderful shadows right here. And you can see the blue tip of Mount Beacon in the background. Really nice. These are the kind of moments I live for. I love how the trees look. Really nice. That reminds me, I usually do this every year, but I haven't done it for maybe the past 2 or 3 years. Let me go back down here. I enjoy standing in a certain spot next to this tree. And every year I take a picture of these 3 trees because they have different bark, and I just think that to see them in a row like this is just so cool. So different. The patterns are just so exquisite. I love them. But in a row like this, it's just so pretty. I'm glad I remembered to do this because I have been meaning to do it. I keep telling myself, you should go stand in your little special spot and look at your 3 special tree trunks. And I keep forgetting. I'm going to take you down a different trail to get back off the mountain, and I'll show you another tree that I absolutely love. I have a huge relationship with trees, and if they fall, I just kind of lose it. I cry for days, literally. Let me go show you the other tree. It's this tree that I'm approaching. Carefully, because there's a little slippery slope right here. In the late summer, this is we have a lot of asters, different kinds of wild asters and several varieties of asters and goldenrods. Anyway, this tree, oh, look at all these nice rock outcrops again. Here's another view of the ruins I was talking about. As you can see, a huge tree fell there all the way across my trail. And I'll show you that in a minute because it's covered in moss. Now here's a typical, you can see how treacherous, you can see these horrible thorns. This is a multiflora rose, so I'll have to trim that because it's right in the way. It'll slap you in the face on the trail. I'll have to go under it, around it. Anyway, it's this tree right here. It's like twisted bark. It's so cool. Like some crazy wind just twisted it. I don't know, but I love it. And it's always green right here. I just love this tree. And it looks to be the leaves, well, I could be wrong. it's some kind of maple tree, but the leaves are massive and they're still green, whereas the sugar maples have all changed to yellow, red, and orange. But this one is still almost 100% green, and it's a massive tree. Double trunks. I just love this tree. Oh, if anything happens to this tree, I think I'll lose my mind. Anyway, but that twisted, it's kind of growing a little crookedly. And I love this because it looks like 2 steps. So when I clear the trails, I make sure that you can see these 2 roots because they look like steps, and they are steps basically. I'm not sure, that might be a school bus. I don't know. It's kind of early. But this tree trunk, very big tree that fell from someone else's property. It just has such great moss on it. Oh my god. This is another tree that the nasty bugs, spotted lanternflies, have been laying their eggs on, and you can see how dark the base of the tree trunk is. It's disgusting. It's like a gross black moldy. This is the tree that I stood under recently, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I literally got rained on by the bugs. Oh my god. I went straight to the shower. And they've done it to another tree over here too. It might be that one. I don't know, but it was just gross. This is all multiflora. This is an entire hedge of multiflora on my original trail that needs a lot of work. We also have a lot of black walnuts. There are black walnut trees all over the property. So this area here, and this area under this big shade tree that's leaning over, are the other ruins. I think it's probably too overgrown for me to walk into. I don't know, maybe. Multiflora. Oh, it's attached to my shirt. Oh god, that's so gross. Oh, I can't. You can see the outline of one foundation. This would be the older foundation because it's rocks. And then over there, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the tree because I don't want to get too close to the tree. Actually, I can't walk over here at all because there's so much multiflora that I can't walk past this little section. We'll do this video another time, but this is a great area to see all the sugar maples on the tiny triangular shaped lot next to ours that I get to enjoy because it's all sugar maples. But that tree kind of fell a little bit, but it's still alive, and it's kind of resting over the other foundation. And right here was where we used to have the campfire. And right there was our original Charlie Brown Christmas tree. And I'm going to wrap up this video by showing you the current Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Just to show you how far that tree is leaning. It used to not be like this when we had the campfire site right here. Original Charlie Brown. And now I'm going to walk this way. Kind of back to where we started. Oh, by the way, this is a massive sugar maple that's already lost all of its leaves. Oh, it's just so huge. Another tree, I would lose my mind if anything happened to it. Look how huge that trunk is. Yeah, I gotta get these ornaments off this tree. Ridiculous. Okay. Oh my gosh. I see some more work in my future. This is our current Charlie Brown Christmas tree, and it has bittersweet vines in it. It has no ornaments, but it has lights. So at Christmas time, you can see it from our house, and it's just so nice. love seeing it. So we come sit up here, roast marshmallows or whatever, or we just sit with blankets in our chairs, and we have a mountain view on one side and Charlie Brown Christmas tree on the other. All right, well, I'm gonna shut up now. I didn't plan on giving you a tour of the entire property. Well, technically it's not the entire property, but it was a lot, and I didn't plan on that. Things just happen. I hope it's not too long to upload. Well, we'll see. Until next time, I guess, whenever that is.